For nearly 3 decades, Sheri Bailey has walked onto empty theater stages to create new worlds and confront old, painful realities.
I have a play called Southern Girls that I co-wrote with my dear friend Dura Temple Curry, who actually just passed in May. And Southern Girls follows 6 girls, 3 black, 3 white, from the ages of 6 and 7 into their early adulthood.
The Virginia native says her state, and specifically the Hampton Roads area, is central to the story of slavery and freedom in America.
You have in 1619 the arrival of those Africans from Angola at Fort Monroe. That's where they came on land. And then 240-something years later, you have in 1861 the Contraband Three, who were 3 men who escaped from their owner in Norfolk, made their way to Fort Monroe, and asked for asylum. When their owner came to collect his property, he was denied their return, and they were put on federal payroll. And they became the beginning of the end of chattel slavery in America, right there at Fort Monroe. So you have enslavement in 1619 to self-emancipation in 1861.
Her work brings live theater and educational programs to churches, schools, and other organizations, with each production aiming to foster racial healing.
How would you say theater and the creative arts help to tackle difficult issues in our lives?
Well, I think being able to bring people together in a way that is not threatening helps a lot. The play, in fact, this play here that I'm holding, it's called Abolitionist Museum.
This play features 8 historic figures who had an impact on slavery.
And there are wax figures in a museum. The museum curator brings in a Confederate flag, and they debate whether or not to burn that flag. 2009, we're doing the play out in Suffolk, and suddenly a voice says,
Nat Turner killed my family in Southampton County. So before you think about doing away with the Confederate flag, think of what I lost.
And we were like, who said that? And it turned out to be 70-year-old Rose Nichols, who was a descendant of one of the casualties of the Nat Turner insurrection in 1831. But she said it like it happened last week. And we said, ma'am, we're going to finish this play, and then we're going to have that conversation. And it was perhaps one of the best post-show conversations I've ever been a part of, where people who were coming from radically different perspectives were able to have civilized conversation.
When it comes to Juneteenth and slavery, you mentioned minimizing harm and blame. Why is that in particular important?
Well, I mean, if someone is going to blame you for something that you don't have any control over, that's a one-way street to nowhere. And so the idea that someone should be blamed at this point, we're beyond that. And we're beyond shame because, again, we're looking for ways to be able to heal from, the terror and the torture of what slavery was all about. And so it feels very right to say you got to get over that. And that doesn't mean that people don't need to be held accountable.
Do you feel like there's an effort to rewrite history when it comes to slavery?
Rewrite it, suppress it, and change it, all of that. And that, again, becomes a reason why it's so important to do the work.
Bailey and Juneteenth VA hope to continue the work for as long as possible. Efrem Graham, CBN News.